Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The procedure of calculating, determining something by mathematical or logical methods. Planning something carefully and intentionally. Problem solving that involves numbers or quantities. The procedure of calculating, determining something by mathematical or logical methods. Problem solving that involves numbers or quantities. The procedure of calculating, determining something by mathematical or logical methods. The branch of engineering science that studies, with the aid of computers, computable processes and structures. Planning something carefully and intentionally. It was the deliberation of his act that was insulting. Careful consideration. A little deliberation would have deterred them. A rate demonstrating an absence of haste or hurry. The trait of thoughtfulness in action or decision. He was a man of judicial deliberation. Usually plural, discussion of all sides of a question. The deliberations of the jury. Problem solving that involves numbers or quantities. A bill for an amount due. Problem solving that involves numbers or quantities. The act of counting, reciting numbers in ascending order. A natural prolongation or projection from a part of an organism, either animal or plant. A bony process. A writ issued by authority of law, usually compels the defendant's attendance in a civil suit. Failure to appear results in a default judgment against the defendant. Shape, form, or improve a material. Process iron. Deliver a warrant or summons to someone. He was processed by the sheriff. A sustained phenomenon or one marked by gradual changes through a series of states. Events now in process. Institute legal proceedings against. File a suit against. He was warned that the district attorney would process him. March in a procession. They processed into the dining room. A particular course of action intended to achieve a result. It was a process of trial and error. Psychology. The performance of some composite cognitive activity. An operation that affects mental contents. The process of thinking. A mental process that you are not directly aware of. The process of denial. Subject to a process or treatment, with the aim of readying for some purpose, improving, or remedying a condition. Process cheese. Deal with in a routine way. Process alone. Perform mathematical and logical operations on data, according to programmed instructions in order to obtain the required information. The results of the elections were still being processed when he gave his acceptance speech. A process or series of acts, especially of a practical or mechanical nature, involved in a particular form of work. A set sequence of steps, part of larger computer program. A particular course of action intended to achieve a result. The procedure of obtaining a driver's license. A mode of conducting legal and parliamentary proceedings. Supply with provisions. A stipulated condition. He accepted subject to one provision. The cognitive process of thinking about what you will do in the event of something happening. The activity of supplying or providing something. A store or supply of something, especially of food or clothing or arms. The cognitive process of thinking about what you will do in the event of something happening. The act of preparing something, as food, by the application of heat. He left the preparation of meals to his wife. A substance prepared according to a formula. The physician prescribed a commercial preparation of the medicine. Activity leading to skilled behavior. The activity of putting or setting in order in advance of some act or purpose. Preparations for the ceremony had begun. The state of having been made ready or prepared for use or action, especially military action. Their preparation was more than adequate. Preparatory school work done outside school, especially at home. Music. A note that produces a dissonant chord is first heard in a consonant chord. The resolution of one dissonance is often the preparation for another dissonance. The cognitive process of thinking about what you will do in the event of something happening. His planning for retirement was hindered by several uncertainties. An act of formulating a program for a definite course of action. The planning was more fun than the trip itself. The act or process of drawing up plans or layouts for some project or enterprise. The area of cognitive psychology that studies the processes involved in solving problems. The thought processes involved in solving a problem. Mathematics, calculation by mathematical methods. The problems at the end of the chapter demonstrated the mathematical processes involved in the derivation. Mathematics, calculation by mathematical methods. The act of calculating again, usually to eliminate errors or to include additional data. Recalculation yielded a much larger value. Activity by a military or naval force, as a maneuver or campaign. It was a joint operation of the Navy and Air Force. A process or series of acts, especially of a practical or mechanical nature, involved in a particular form of work. The operations in building a house. Mathematics, calculation by mathematical methods. They were learning the basic operations of arithmetic. A medical procedure involving an incision with instruments, performed to repair damage or arrest disease in a living body. They will schedule the operation as soon as an operating room is available. Process or manner of functioning or operating. The power of its engine determines its operation. Psychology. The performance of some composite cognitive activity. An operation that affects mental contents. The cognitive operation of remembering. A business, especially one run on a large scale. A large-scale farming operation. A planned activity involving many people performing various actions. They organized a rescue operation. Computer science, data processing in which the result is completely specified by a rule, especially the processing that results from a single instruction. It can perform millions of operations per second. The activity of operating something, a machine or business, etc. Her smooth operation of the vehicle gave us a surprisingly comfortable ride. The state of being in effect or being operative. That rule is no longer in operation. Any abnormal position of the organs of the body. An event in which one thing is substituted for another. The act of reversing the order or place of. Electricity. A rearrangement of the relative positions of power lines in order to minimize the effects of mutual capacitance and inductance. He wrote a textbook on the electrical effects of transposition. Genetics. a kind of mutation in which a chromosomal segment is transferred to a new position on the same or another chromosome. Mathematics. The transfer of a quantity from one side of an equation to the other along with a change of sign. Music. Playing in a different key from the key intended, moving the pitch of a piece of music upwards or downwards. Performing complex and lengthy numerical calculations. A bevel gear that permits rotation of two shafts at different speeds, used on the rear axle of automobiles to allow wheels to rotate at different speeds on curves. The result of mathematical differentiation. The instantaneous change of one quantity relative to another. df, x, dx. A quality that differentiates between similar things. Involving or containing one or more derivatives. Differential equation. Relating to or showing a difference. Differential treatment. The result of mathematical differentiation. The instantaneous change of one quantity relative to another. df, x, dx. Judged to be probable. An approximate calculation of quantity or degree or worth. An estimate of what it would cost. Judge tentatively or form an estimate of quantities or time. I estimate this chicken to weigh 3 pounds. A judgment of the qualities of something or somebody. Many factors are involved in any estimate of human life. The respect with which a person is held. A document appraising the value of something, as for insurance or taxation. A statement indicating the likely cost of some job. He got an estimate from the car repair shop. An approximate calculation of quantity or degree or worth. A judgment of the qualities of something or somebody. In my estimation, the boy is innocent. The respect with which a person is held. They had a high estimation of his ability. A document appraising the value of something, as for insurance or taxation. An inference about the future, or about some hypothetical situation, based on known facts and observations. Mathematics. Calculation of the value of a function outside the range of known values. The result of mathematical differentiation. The instantaneous change of one quantity relative to another. df, x, dx. Music, melodic subject of a musical composition. The accompanist picked up the idea and elaborated it. An approximate calculation of quantity or degree or worth. A rough idea how long it would take. The content of cognition, the main thing you are thinking about. It was not a good idea. Your intention, what you intend to do. The idea of the game is to capture all the pieces. A personal view. He has an idea that we don't like him. Existing as an essential constituent or characteristic. Constituting the undiminished entirety. Lacking nothing essential, especially not damage. A local motion keepeth bodies integral. The result of a mathematical integration, f, x, is the integral of f, x, if df, dx equals f, x. Of are denoted by an integer. The action of interjecting or interposing an action or remark that interrupts. A message, spoken or written, that is introduced or inserted. With the help of his friend's interpolations, his story was eventually told. Mathematics. Calculation of the value of a function between the values already known. An approximate calculation of quantity or degree or worth. The act of bringing near or bringing together especially the cut edges of tissue. An imprecise or incomplete account. Newspapers gave only an approximation of the actual events. The quality of coming near to identity, especially close in quantity. A spiritual enlightenment causing a person to lead a new life. An event that results in a transformation. A change in the units or form of an expression. Conversion from Fahrenheit to centigrade. A change of religion. His conversion to the Catholic faith. Act of exchanging one type of money or security for another. A successful free throw or try for point after a touchdown. Interchange of subject and predicate of a proposition. Psychiatry. A defense mechanism represses emotional conflicts which are then converted into physical symptoms that have no organic basis. The act of changing from one use or function or purpose to another. The result of mathematical differentiation. The instantaneous change of one quantity relative to another. df, x, dx. A financial instrument whose value is based on another security. A compound obtained from, or regarded as derived from, another compound. Linguistics. A word that is derived from another word. Electricity is a derivative of electric. Resulting from or employing derivation. A derivative process. The result of mathematical differentiation. The instantaneous change of one quantity relative to another. df, x, dx.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.